What's up, stackers? This is Silver Slayer, and welcome to your daily silver stacking video. Thank you so much for tuning in. You listening to this video right now, yes, you are already entered in a silver giveaway and might be winning some silver. Every single month, you are automatically entered in a silver giveaway because once a month, I pick a random subscriber to give an ounce of silver away to. But I'm also doing an unboxing in the next 3-4 days. I'll be giving some of that silver away too as well. But I'm also doing a 55,000 subscribers silver giveaway once we hit that number. So a lot of silver given away to a lot of lucky stackers that are subscribed around here. So like always, may the luckiest stackers win. Now, when I talk about supply and demand, when I talk about the silver shortage, when I talk about all this, I go off of data. I go off of information. I look at the numbers. I don't just assume or theorize or speculate. When I talk about this stuff, there's a reason, and I like to show proof. Now, this is an article, and it's talking about the global silver production over the next several years. Now, it says production is going to recover and actually rise in 2022. But then when you look down here, more context is shown that we're forecast to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 1.3% to reach 948 million ounces in 2026. Now, I don't know if you know this, but right now, demand already exceeded 1.112 billion ounces this year. But imagine what the demand is going to be like in the year 2026 when almost every automobile company by then will be going electric, when solar panels will be flooding the entire world, when 5G towers will have tripled, quadrupled. If that's the type of production we're predicting or looking at within the next 4 or 5 years, then it's almost impossible to even try to debate the fact that there will be enough silver. I mean, we're not just looking at the investment side of things. We're not just looking at the U.S. Mint and coins. We're talking about silver's industrial purpose, which is which makes up most of silver's usage. And these components then are not recyclable. Most of these things are never to be recycled. They're thrown away and lost forever. So there's another reason I want to talk about this article though is there a solution? Right? We could talk about, well, maybe the production will never meet the demand, but if we can find out a way to I guess recycle silver more, or find a new innovative way to get more silver, then this might not be such a problem. But I don't see that being possible right now, especially given the data in front of us. So the link to this article will be in the description, and hope you enjoy the video. So the global silver production, after 4 consecutive annual declines, recovered in 2021, growing by 5.3% to 884.5 million ounces. I mean, that's pretty crazy just to say that that it finally has recovered in the middle of all of this, especially given that Mexico and Peru, the two countries that accumulate 40% of the global silver production alone, were hit hard from the global situation. And if as they were able to pick that up from the last 4 years in the middle of all this, is pretty that's pretty significant. Like it says, these most of these mines were able to operate at full capacity throughout that year. Output from Peru, which was 21.5%, and Mexico 9.2%, were significant contributors to the overall growth. In addition, 38.7% of this growth was observed from Bolivia, while there were major declines in production in Chile, Russia, and Kazakhstan. Now, the top five biggest producers of silver are like Mexico, Peru, Chile, Australia, China. But Mexico and Peru are the two biggest ones to always look at, since most silver around the world comes from them alone. Despite impacts to the global supply chain due to the Russia-Ukraine war, global silver mine production is still expected to grow in 2022, and only by 1.6%, which is 898 million ounces in 2022 versus a previous expectation of 3.6% growth. Moderating the growth are forecast declines in output from Peru at negative 7.2% and Russia negative 5.5%. In Peru's case, mine production will be impacted due to strikes and protests that remain a potential ongoing risk for the country's mining industry. These declines will, however, be offset by growth elsewhere, with significant increases expected in Canada, which is 32%, in Chile, 21%, Kazakhstan, 19.8%. So, I wanted to mention something else there as well. So, on my channel the other day, I covered an article from Kitco News where it was Michelle McCory interviewing Keith Newmar from First Majestic Silver, and she brought up the fact that a single Tomahawk missile uses up to 500 ounces of silver, a single one. Now, that's a scary fact looking at if this war continues to go or if it even grows, how detrimental that could be to silver, the silver supply and demand. I mean, that could be a huge disruption. But I really wanted to look at these numbers right here because this chart shows a lot, right? It shows country by country. And like I said, Mexico, Peru, Chile, Australia, China, those are the top 5. Now, you can see in this chart, basically all the ones that I was saying earlier are in here. Also, Russia's included, which, usually I wouldn't really put Russia in that category since, how much silver they're using. The production really wouldn't be as influential, I guess, if you're trying to do pre-war, post. But regardless, look at this chart. Mexico from 2020 to 2021, it grew pretty much, it grew a nice percentage, right? Looking at 197 million ounces produced in 2020, and then you're looking at 215 million ounces or almost 216 million ounces in 2021. China, production grew. Peru, production grew. Australia stayed the same. Russia stayed the same. Chile, it declined, like the article said earlier. So, overall, global silver mine production over 2020 to 2026 period is forecast to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 1.3% to reach 945.8 million ounces in 2026. Growth will be supported by increased output from Mexico, China, and Peru, whose combined outputs forecast to grow from 446 million ounces in 2022 to 455 million ounces in 2026. Additional growth during this time period is expected from Chile and Australia. So, I really want you guys to understand this. I'm sure some of you do, but I'm sure there's still some people that really can't grasp the entire picture of how big this entire, I guess, problem could be. Now, this year, demand exceeded 1.12 billion ounces. In the year 2026, what do you think that number will be? 3 billion, 4 billion, higher? Imagine by the year 2030 what that number would be. 5 billion? Or would it be a lot lower? Nobody really knows, but all I know for a fact is that demand is going to be astronomically higher than it is today, given that every automobile company, which uses the most, EVs use one of the biggest percentages of silver, demand for silver comes from that sector, but also solar panels, photovoltaics, PV cells. Both of those together, that's where all the silver is going to be needed. And those two sectors alone are exploding over the next 10 years. So if demand is only increasing to 955 million ounces by the year 2026, that's not enough. That's not enough. It really isn't. We already saw demand outpace the supply this year. Just imagine how much worse it's going to get. And where is that silver going to come from? Is it going to come from recycling? Is it going to come from, mining innovation? Where is it going to come from? Because it's not realistic in today's day and age that we will be able to go green. Projects with potential to commence operations during the forecast period include the project in Mexico, which is wholly owned by Silvercrest Metals, currently under construction. At the end of the first quarter 2022, overall construction progress was at 95.7%, annual silver production capacity of 5.2 million ounces. The project is expected to commence operations in the fourth quarter of 2023. Further additions are expected from late 2023 from Chile's project, which is wholly owned by Nacional del Cobre, or Codeco, and that's currently under construction with annual silver production of 4.9 million ounces. The project is expected to commence operations in the fourth quarter of 2023. So, um, this is pretty interesting. But regardless, I don't see how, given even this data, or even when the Silver Institute comes out and shows those numbers, or we look at silver demand, or the EV sector, on how when I say the year 2030, every automobile company is going electric, that's a real number, right? We're completely transforming into a new green world, which all of that requires silver, whether it's 5G towers, whether it's EVs, whether it's solar panels, whether it's medical wall paint, whether it's, you know, telephones to laptops to silver lithium ion batteries. It's all requiring silver. And there's no way, looking at these numbers with this type of production, that the demand that it'll be able to keep up with the demand. Low supply, high demand pushes the price up. That's investing 101. So I wanted to throw this at you guys just to show that, numbers don't lie. We can speculate and theorize and assume all we want, but given this information, I just don't see how it's realistic that by the year 2026, with that type of production, we'll be able to keep up with the demand. I just don't see how it's possible. What do you though? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was 1, educational, 2, informational, 3, at least entertaining, make sure to like button. I post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.